Breaking news, OpenAI just hitting the tape with this announcement, the launch of its newest and largest AI model, GPT 4.5. So it promises a significant update to the large language model underlying ChatGPT. So here's what we know. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman just posted on X, quote, "It's a different kind of intelligence, and there's a magic to it I have not felt before." Nvidia makes the chips powering the magic of artificial intelligence. What's ahead? On the heels of quarterly earnings, let's bring in Nvidia founder and CEO Jensen Huang. I mean, by nearly every measure, it was a record-breaking quarter. During the conference call, though, and this really caught my ear, you rattled off a list of all the tech giants, automakers, healthcare. I mean, the Mayo Clinic, you said, is using AI to pioneer drug discovery. They're all incorporating it. But I got to ask you, do you see a sector that's slow to embrace artificial intelligence and should be way more aggressive in adopting AI right now?
Well, that's a good question. Everybody is racing to adopt AI. I would say it this way. I would say that, number one, the core technology builders, the model builders, and the companies that are building consumer-oriented AIs, search, recommender systems, music recommendation, video recommendation, all of those product recommendation, all of those types of consumer AI adoption is incredibly fast. The frontier models and all of the startups trying to build a next generation of frontier models, they're racing to get to the next level. Then there's the areas that are developing. We call them agentic AI, almost like a digital workforce. And they're digital marketing people or software engineers that will be agentic. And so that area is developing very nicely, and that's likely to come on next. The next phase after that is what we call physical AI. This is AI that understands the laws of the world, the physical world. It understands things like inertia and gravity and cause and effect and object permanence. And we'll use that for self-driving cars and robotic systems and so on, things of that nature. And so each one of these industries are kind of coming on in waves, and they're all building on top of each other.
Can it help chickens speed up egg production? I mean, we need more eggs at this moment. I mean, as we look at the demand, it's clearly sizzling. But there were reports at least one hyperscaler, that would be Microsoft, was canceling some data center leases. Are you saying you're seeing no trimming or even scaling back planned data center build out right now?
Yeah, what we see is if you look at this year's data center CapEx and you compare it to last year, it's a big, huge growth. And the vast majority of that data center CapEx used to be allocated to general purpose computing, traditional data centers. Mm-hmm. But now going forward, it's going to be used for NVIDIA's accelerated computing and AI type of systems. And so not only is the CapEx larger, the amount of that CapEx dedicated to AI is going to be far greater. And so we're seeing a very robust growth for this year compared to last year. And I think we're teed up for some pretty great build outs of these data centers to produce essentially what I call AI factories, which in the future will transform energy, if you will, into digital intelligence. And these digital intelligence, we call them tokens, but basically artificial intelligence. Yeah, we've got many years of build out to go.
Many years of build.
Following a warning from an analyst at the Japanese bank Mizuho that the U.S. may eventually forbid the tech giant from selling any of its processors to Chinese companies, Nvidia is down 4%. According to Bloomberg this week, the Trump administration is considering expanding the amount of Nvidia chips that cannot be exported to China without licenses, while the Biden administration blocked Nvidia and its competitors from shipping their most sophisticated chips to China. Additionally, the government is putting pressure on its allies to limit the sale of equipment used to make chips to the Asian nation. However, Jordan Klein, a Mizuho analyst, recently hinted that Washington might choose to ban every and all Nvidia chip sales into China. According to Klein, such a move may lead analysts to reduce their projections of the company's sales and earnings per share for this year by $4 billion to $5 billion and 18 cents, respectively. Klein is optimistic about Nvidia's overall prospects despite his warning that Washington might prohibit all sales of the company's processors to China. This is due to the analysts' belief that the shares already show a drop in the company's Chinese revenue. According to Klein, the stock is more likely to rise in the second half of the year. So what implications does this have for Nvidia stock? Let's explore that. But first, a big thank you to those of you who've stuck with us this far. Creating these videos takes significant effort and dedication, so if you're enjoying the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts on Nvidia stock in the comments. Your support truly helps us grow. Now let's get back to the video.
I mean, it looks like it's a very long runway. I got to ask you about the new chatbot on the block. There are reports that China's DeepSeek is pushing up the launch of R2, its successor to January's really popular R1 chatbot, from May to basically as soon as possible. Do you know if the upcoming DeepSeek model uses NVIDIA chips, which ones, and how concerned are you that cheaper ways to train models might mean fewer sales of your pricier Blackwell chip, which is obviously very popular right now?
DeepSeek is fantastic. And in fact, what DeepSeek has done is it open sourced a new type of state-of-the-art AI model called reasoning models. Reasoning models are basically models that think. Instead of you asking the chatbot a question and it instantly spews out an answer, and it does a really good job doing it, but now the chatbot will break the question down step by step, reason about it. It might produce several different versions of it internally in its head, choose the best answer before it presents it to you. And so it turns out that these reasoning AI models has discovered a new scaling law, and a scaling law says the more compute you apply to thinking, the smarter the answer. And so it's exactly the opposite. What DeepSeek has done is actually opened up a whole new field that consumes an enormous amount of NVIDIA's computing capability. Just about every AI developer has now incorporated either R1 or technologies like R1, chain of thought and reinforcement learning and search and so on, to improve the quality of their answers. And so what really happened is that this new generation of AI models has caused demand to be really high. The papers of DeepSeek does a really good job describing the hardware that they used, and they used several generations of our older hardware, and they also used the hardware that is export controlled. The innovation of that team is really terrific. You have to give them credit. They found a way to develop algorithms and software that takes advantage of the computer. But in the end, that's really what computer engineers do. They're really smart about whatever computer you give it. It's a smartphone or a PC or an NVIDIA GPU or a game console or whatever it is that you give them, they're going to find a way to develop great software for it. So they're really good software engineers.
Okay.
But the big idea is DeepSeek has opened up reasoning AI.
But did they use any of the pricier chips? Well, I guess they weren't really shipped at that moment, but the Trump administration is working right now. It really wants to further blunt China's technological advancements by, in essence, curbing U.S.-made semiconductor sales, specifically yours. I know you met with President Trump last month. I'm not going to ask you what was said in your private conversation, but did you leave the White House after meeting with him feeling better about NVIDIA's global business, more concerned?
I left the White House with great new relationships, a very clear understanding that the administration is going to work with us to understand the market, to understand ground truth and what is actually happening. Of course, we're committed and very enthusiastic to work with the administration to achieve its goals and want the administration to succeed. The net of it all is if you look at where NVIDIA's computers are that are going to China today, and you compare it against what we just launched this quarter, this record-breaking quarter that we had with Grace Blackwell, the comparison of the technology, anywhere from 20 to 60 times higher performance is what we currently have in the United States. And so that every day that goes by, the export-controlled technology is further and further behind, if you will. In a lot of ways, it's another way of saying every day that goes by, we're making that technology slower and slower. And so I think the conversation is good, and we're happy to share with the administration everything that we know so that it can make the best decision.
Oh, I want to talk about.
Despite its chip business breaking records, Nvidia's rocket ship surge has struck a snag, with shares down 10% year to far. Investors chose to sell the stock in response to the fourth quarter earnings, which were yet another resounding triumph. Is there a deeper motive at work? Or are Nvidia stockholders just sick of winning? Let's see what the upcoming 12 months may bring. On results day, Nvidia investors often have nothing to be concerned about. The corporation has a history of exceeding forecasts, and the fiscal year 2025 fourth quarter, which concluded on January 26th, was no exception. Due to sustained success in the data center business, where it sells graphics processing units, GPUs, for AI algorithm training and execution, revenue increased 78% year over year to $39.3 billion. Since this technology is developing quickly, Nvidia regularly improves its products to spur expansion and fend off rivals. The company's success in the near future will be largely dependent on its most recent Blackwell GPUs. The cost of these chips is high. Each unit costs between $30,000 and $40,000. However, when they handle workloads related to AI, they can actually save clients money because of the notable performance and energy efficiency gains over earlier generation systems. To stay informed about the latest developments from Nvidia and the ever-changing stock market, consider subscribing to our investing tutorial channel. We provide daily updates on significant market shifts and key catalysts, so hit that subscribe button to ensure you never miss crucial information. We'd love to hear your thoughts on Nvidia stock, so please share your opinions in the comments below. Now, let's dive into today's video.
Talk about what you said on the call is long thinking, where AI models incorporate advanced algorithms that enable it to plan, to reason, and adapt over longer time frames. You said that it requires something like 100 times more compute. I got to ask you, how is the development of this so-called long thinking going to impact people's everyday lives in the near term?
Every time you use ChatGPT, it already does reasoning, and you could see that the quality of the answers has improved tremendously. And so reasoning or long thinking allows it to break the problem down step by step. It process the problem. It might even come up with several examples or several answers internally in its mind. It'll select the best one before it presents it to you. And so the net answer is you're going to get AI that's smarter, present to you better answers, and it'll be a lot more useful.
Amazing. I know a lot of people watching are using it, or they're kind of AI curious. They're dipping into it, and it's just advancing at the speed of thought. I know you've gotten where you are today by anticipating the best and worst case scenarios. Do you envision a day when AI could be powered by something other than semiconductor chips?
Well, wherever semiconductor takes us in the coming decades, there will be computers that has to be built. And whatever new technology comes along, I'm fairly certain we're either inventing it or using it to invent the future. So we're fairly clever about computers here, Liz, as you know, and we love our work here. And so whatever that future is, we're going to go help create it. The thing that's really cool about the latest developments of AI is it's opening up all kinds of new use cases. You know, digital AI research assistant in drug discovery, an AI scientist in helping us discover a new material for energy production. You know, maybe it's a new AI that's used to help us with manufacturing because we don't have enough workforce, and the workforce labor is the people in the workforce is reducing, and so all these different reasons, AI is going to help us be a lot more productive and create some pretty exciting things in the future.
Brave new world.
Nvidia has reached full-scale production of Blackwell, according to management, and sold $11 billion worth of it in the fourth quarter, mostly to major cloud service providers like Alphabet, Microsoft, and Amazon. Nvidia's stock fell almost 8.5% on earnings day, indicating that many owners are becoming uneasy despite the company's unquestionably impressive results. The fear may have something to do with direction. Although management anticipates a 65% increase in first quarter revenue to $43 billion, they also forecast a decline in gross margins from 78% to 70.6% year over year. Nvidia may be lowering its prices due to competition, which could result in slower earnings growth, as indicated by declining margins. Other GPU manufacturers, such Advanced Micro Devices, which created the MI325X to rival Nvidia's Blackwell GPUs, are direct competitors of the business. Custom chips, however, may pose the most threat. Compared to Nvidia's general-purpose GPUs, custom chips are tuned for particular applications, removing superfluous parts and possibly lowering costs and increasing energy efficiency. Although a limited proportion of Nvidia's clients currently employ bespoke chips, this trend may continue. OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, and Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing completed the design of a bespoke chip in February, with the intention of mass-producing it the following year and lowering dependency on Nvidia. Competition may damage Nvidia's pricing power and profitability by making customers more price-sensitive, even if it doesn't threaten its market dominance. Another danger is the Chinese startup DeepSeek, which used Nvidia's outdated H800 chips to develop a competitive large language model, LLM. The success of DeepSeek may make some wonder if Nvidia's newest hardware is really required. Even under the best-case scenario, Nvidia's $2.9 trillion market capitalization limits its potential for stock price increase. The force required to move anything increases with its size. Additionally, as customers turn to bespoke chips and reconsider how much money they are spending on what is still a very speculative industry, the market leader in chips may see pressure on its margins, even though its top line is expected to grow. Nevertheless, Nvidia continues to appear to be a good investment. Despite the company's strong growth rate, shares are in line with the Nasdaq 100's ahead expectation with a forward price-to-earnings (PE) ratio of just 28. Without a decline in macroeconomic conditions, a significant crash appears improbable, as this value accounts for a large portion of Nvidia's possible challenges. Don't forget to share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your input helps create a more knowledgeable community where we can all learn and grow together in the world of investing. Stay up to date with the latest market trends, insights, and key updates by subscribing to Investing Tutorial. We're here to help you make smarter investment decisions and stay ahead of the curve.